I'm back. This is Kimberly Purpose, and welcome to my channel. I was doing this article about the Dawes Roll. It's called, this is part number 2. It's about the $5 Indians. And the title of this article is Paying to Play Indians, the Dawes Rolls, and the Legacy of $5 Indians. This article is by Alyssa Laundrie, and it was published March 21st, 2017. And I was on this paragraph. I'm going to go back and backtrack. It says the Dawes Commission established in 1893 to enforce the General Allotment Act of 1887. Or the Dawes Act was charged with convincing the tribes to cede their land to the United States and divide remaining lands into individual allotments. The commission also required Indians to claim membership in only one tribe and register on the Dawes Rolls, what the government meant to be a definitive record of individuals with Indian blood. Okay. Um, let's continue. This pretty much goes over what took place in 1893 when it was initially enforced. So let's go on to the next paragraph. It says the Curtis Act passed in 1898 targeted the 5 civilized tribes: Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole, forcing them to accept allotment and register on the Dawes Roll. The 2 acts, which came during a period of murky social contest after the Civil War, when whites and black men were intermarrying with Native women, aimed to help the government to keep track of real Indians while accelerating efforts to assimilate Indian people into white culture, Smithers says. So pretty much, they were pretty much just letting any Indian that is mixed with European, they're allowed to be a part of the tribe, whereas people who are mixed with black or considered to have Negro features were excluded and was not counted as Negro. What they pretty much did was the darker complexion Indians, they went on ahead and classified them as being Negroid or colored, and kept the other Indians that were either biracial European or straight white people who just paid the $5. They were classified as Indians. So in other words, the true Indians, the ones with that's more Indian, 100% Indian, were more than likely taken off the list. So let's continue. It says here, by 1865, African Americans and white Americans were moving into the Midwest, into the Indian and Oklahoma territories, vying for some patch of lands that could call their own and live out their Jeffersonian view of independence. He said the federal government poured a lot of effort and energy into Dawes Commission, but at the same time, it was very hard for both Native and American government to keep track of who was who. Yeah, right. They didn't want to keep track. They say that it was very difficult. It wasn't difficult. They did this intentionally. They didn't want to keep track because they wanted to just put Caucasians on there on the list, the settlers on there, and just take all the real Indians off the list. That's pretty much what took place. The Dawes Commission set up tents in Indian Territory, said Bill Wedge, director of the Oklahoma Historical Society Office of American Indian Culture and Preservation. There were 5 clerks, scored written records, took oral testimony, and generated enrolled cards for individuals determined to have Indian blood. Wow. Yeah. Pretty much this whole thing was just identity theft. They didn't really do anything. They just put white people on the list for the Dawes Commission, and the half breeds on there that look more European and or very fair skinned Mongoloid looking Indians. And all the rest of the Indians that were more likely 100% Indian, real Indians, were taken off. That's pretty much that's what took place. And here identifying, they made it seem like it was so hard. We all know what they did. And let's go on. It says they included authentic Indian, which said, but also it says it's used to authenticate uh, Indians, which said, but also include lots of people with questionable heritage. Wow. Okay, they talking about being authentic. You're not being authentic if you're putting the fake Indians in there. That's not being authentic. That's just being racist and trying to keep gray supremacy alive. Let's continue. Commissioners took advantage of their positions and enrolled people who had very minimal or questionable connections to the tribe. Yeah, pretty much. They put the Europeans on there. He said they were not averse to taking money under the table. So yeah, see, they take money on the table for any European. So if a person of color wanted to put a name on a list, it didn't matter if you had money. If you were black or Negro, you would not be included on that list regardless. So it was very discriminatory. So the 100% Indians were never put on there. So anyway, down here is another document that supports everything that's been told in this article. It's called, right here, it says Index to Final Roles of Citizens and Freedmen of the 5 Civilized Tribes in Indian Territory, prepared by the Commissioning Commissioners to the 5 Civilized Tribe and approved the Secretary of Interior on prior of May 4th, 1907. All you can do is just laugh at this joke, just it's a crime shame. I remember watching a video by Dane Calloway. He said something about all these bills that were passed. It was signed, I think what is it? The Dawes Roll. I believe it was signed on April Fool's Day. I don't think this supports it, but I think it was signed on April Fool's Day. One of the I think it was Dawes commissioners. It was whatever. I think it was the Dawes Commission, if I'm not mistaken. But Dan Calloway mentioned something about how they signed April Fool's Day a bill that sort of allowed the $5 Indians to go ahead and sign and get the land allotments and the monetary gains and awards that was supposed to be for the indigenous people. It went to the Europeans, and it was done on April Fool's Day. And he says by coincidence, but I wouldn't be surprised they did it intentionally, because it never did have any intention of any of the Aborigines getting anything. But anyway, this document at the bottom says it was compiled and printed under the authority conferred by the Act of Congress approved June 24th, 1906. And then now at the bottom it says in the description, the Dawes Commission established in 1893 to enforce the General Allotment Act of 1887. So I'm going to have to stop here. My time is running out. I can go on and on about this, but I'm going to put a link below to this article. This is a wonderful article, has supporting documents and everything. Please like this video. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, and don't forget to subscribe and to donate. And till next time, peace and be blessed, and bye-bye.